Alrighty mighty, in today's video I have a shoebox. Not really. I purchased a faulty Nintendo Switch off of eBay for £90, which equates to around about $120. Usually I buy a lot of Nintendo Switches on their own, however I couldn't resist with this because it came with a bunch of accessories. I really hope I can fix this one, and it's not just the Switch that's faulty. Let's get into it. I've managed to secure the docking station, a Nintendo Switch with both of the Joy-Cons, a HDMI lead, and the Switch controller thingy for that £90. I did receive a message from the seller that said they came down with something, so that's why it took so long to post this out to me. I haven't opened this package in about a week because I wanted to make sure there was no germs on it. However, I'm about to go to town with some baby wipes. Let's have a look at what the seller put on eBay. Before it stopped charging and turning on, there was an issue with the memory card reader, so that's fault number one. This was my youngest son's Switch, and I must be clear about its condition as I don't know if it's water damage, possible battery issue, or anything else. That's issue number two. The controllers drift, and to cover myself, I'm describing them as both drifters. So that's fault number three. It was working a few months back, but it's since stopped. We'll need a good clean. Two, but we'll wipe down before I send. So I'm just giving it an extra wipe down just to make sure. I've never seen little life rafts around the analog sticks of the controllers. And to be honest with you, they don't look like they're in horrendous condition. So they've got drift, but they're not dirty. They haven't got like grease marks and stuff everywhere. These little marks here are my gloves and my hands. They actually look like really good controllers, good condition anyway. So these I'll probably leave till last. No idea if this is gonna work, I'm assuming so. I'll test the docking station out a little bit later as well. But for now, let's get Blue Matte Pat and see if we can diagnose what's going on with this Nintendo Switch. First off, do we get any power? So I'm just pressing on the button now. Do we get any power to the device? I don't think we do. There's no backlight from what I can see. It just doesn't turn on. I'm gonna take my little device, which is called an ammeter. It's plugged into an official Nintendo charger. And what this is gonna do is hopefully help us diagnose what the issue is with the Switch, or at least give us a hint. So we put this in, what happens? It lights up, that's good. We get 0.04 amps, and it just sits at 0.04 amps. And we're putting 14.8 volts as well, which is really, really good. If we turn it round onto the back, do we get exactly the same? I hope so. We get 0.08, 0.11 amps, 0.13 amps on the back. That to me looks like it's kind of charging. But I just want to confirm we have nothing on the screen, so no display still. It's now dropped down to 0.09 amps. Clearly this Nintendo Switch doesn't want to turn on, so let's take it apart. This is a lot of dust. One thing I've noticed as well, there's no serial number. Have I been scammed? First looks at this, it's just a bit dusty. This is the water damage indicator here, and as you can see, that's not pink, that's polka dot. We like polka dot, we don't like pink. Pink would indicate water damage, and clearly, we have no water damage. This is lovely. But why doesn't it work? First things first, we'll try not too complicated. I've unplugged the battery for the Switch. I'm just gonna put a known good battery that I have into it and see what happens then. So if I turn it around and we try and power it on, do we get anything? No, still nothing. Out of interest, do I get the same results with this battery in? No, see, charging is fine, 48 amps. Sorry, 0.48 amps. But still nothing on the screen. And the backlight isn't on, I can confirm. Do we get the same the other way then? 0.37, 0.48, okay. That gives me reason to believe the charging port is actually okay as well. I'm thinking maybe this battery is just completely out of juice and needs a full-on charge. The original battery. That's one thing though. This doesn't turn on, which is a completely different error. Let's go a bit further. I've already switched over to the microscope, just because I want to do a quick visual inspection to see what's going on. I've also got my multimeter and I've put it into continuity mode, which is the mode that when it beeps, that's a complete full circuit. I'm just having a look first off to see if I can spot anything. Port is just dusty. Oh no. Is that what I think it is? If it is, I feel a little bit sick. No way. Oh my gosh. What on earth is a nail doing in the charging port of a Nintendo Switch? Just when you think you've seen it all. Let's put that over there, out the way forever. I just want to see that if for some reason this nail that I've pulled out would stop this from turning on. I mean, it's weird enough that it's in there. No, okay, fine. I can cross that off my list, but that was disgusting. Let's continue with the visual test. I mean, everything seems to be fine. I use that term loosely, but charging port itself, no issues whatsoever, other than a nail. Just having a look around here to see if there's anything obvious, which there doesn't seem to be. There's no water damage on the board at all, from what I can see, which is obviously good news. I've not seen this board revision before. The fuse is here. First off, let's make sure that we get continuity going through this fuse. We'll need to hear a beep to make sure that it's good. There we go. It took a while, but it's there, it's alive. I'm just gonna check the BQ chip. Start with the coil, it's good. Everything seems to be fine around here, that's okay. Let's work our way up to M92T36. I'm hoping this is where the issue lies. Again, from what I can see, everything around M92T36 is also okay. So I'm a little bit worried now. I do want to note one thing, and that is this little CPU cap here. We don't necessarily get a short when I measure it on this side, but I'm really scared that this CPU cap is actually dead. If I switch my meter into diode mode, where I put the red probe on ground and the black probe on this side of the cap, I get a reading of 0.142 volts. Again, 0.142. I'm pretty sure that's meant to be around 0.3, 0.4. Could be wrong. Here I actually have a board that we can test with. So I'm going to check diode mode on this now. What reading do we get here? Yeah, we get 0.4, 0.5 on this CPU cap. I've got another board here which doesn't have the cap, but we can still measure the pad, and that gives us 0.4. So I have a feeling that the CPU on the original board might be dead. If I measure on the actual chip, which is going to be just here, I get the same. I get 0.134, and I get the same on this little pad here as well, 0.135. I'm going to take the housing out and I'm going to switch the board over so we can have a look at P13 USB as well. For the record, I've also checked the switch in RCM mode as well, which is where I believe you can hack a switch, but it doesn't seem to be in RCM mode. Let's check P13 cap here, and that seems to be fine. I think I'm going to pull off M92 T36, and if you were to ask me why, I would say I don't know. I want to see if this gives us a different reading without the chip being on the board. So let's do that. I just wanted to confirm that charging port, although be it a little bit dusty, seems to be fine. We're going to blast this with 450 degrees Celsius worth of heat and 50% airflow. We'll let the board cool down and then I'll test. Let's test and see what reading we get. So before it was 0.15 something, okay? Okay, we're getting 0.4 now, 0.3, stabilize. 0.38 is sitting at 0.38. 0.4, okay, wicked. I'm just gonna go ahead and put another M92 T36 chip on and see if that helps. I'm not gonna bother cleaning that up. I'm actually gonna use the solder that's left over. So I'm gonna go 450 degrees again with an airflow speed of 50% with a new chip. Let's see if this works. See if we can get surface tension to do its job. There it pops. Heat off. We push down on the chip. Come back in with the heat. Hold it. Let go. Looking good. There is a little bit of a blob on the left, but that's fine. Isopropyl alcohol and a toothbrush. Come in with a trusty cotton swab to clean up. Is that blob touching next to it? No, it's not. Just for testing purposes, we can tidy this up in a second. We need to. It's pretty clean to me though. Let's check all the sides. It's fine. That's fine. That's fine. That's also fine. Nice. Let's test. We have the battery plugged in, we have the NAND plugged in, we have the LCD, and we have the backlight. Do we get anything different? Remember, this is the battery that's dead supposedly as well. Do we get anything different when we go to charge it? Let's see. We get 0.11 amps, 0.12, 0.13, 0.14. Do we have anything on the screen though? That is the question. Nothing. Let me turn it around. Let's try this way. 0.12 amps. 0.14. Okay, could just be dead battery, remember. Could be dead battery. Let's try the known good battery, okay? Can you see how I'm hanging on for dear life here, that it works? Here we go. Known good battery. What happens when we turn it over and we put it in the charger? Do we get anything? 0.37. 0.47. Try and turn it on and we get nothing, but there should be something that displays here anyway, but there's nothing. What's strange is that the CPU is actually getting hot. So I feel like the switch is on, but we're not getting a backlight down here. If I take this out and put it back in, you can see we're not getting a backlight. Usually a backlight would show down here. I'm gonna try and put this switch into a different case to see if the LCD and the backlight on this is at fault. I'm just gonna check as well and make sure that CPU cap that we were looking at before, yeah, so it's good. 0.3, 0.5, 0.4, 0.5, that's good. Before we switched over the M92 T36 chip, that was 1 point something. Or did I say 0.5? Something along those lines, either 0.5 or 1.5. All right, I've put the board that we were just working with into this case here. I know that this case works, I know the screen works, I know the backlight works. So what happens now with this motherboard? Actually, let's do it from the back, see if we get a backlight first. Do we get a backlight? Is that a backlight? No, we still get no backlight. I'm assuming then we're not gonna get anything on the front. No, we're not. So nothing on the front here. This means that the other casing is fine and dandy. It's actually something to do with the board. I've been doing some little bits of testing on the board, and the only things that I can see, we have a little mark here which goes underneath the CPU or APU. That could be an indication of something. I'll pop up a photo on the screen now of the eMMC, which is the memory chip. When I plug the charger in and put the eMMC chip on, eMMC chip gets really, really hot. And I don't know if that happens on a normal Nintendo Switch or not. So it could be a possibility that the eMMC chip has gone bust, which is the memory. And unfortunately, they're married to the board. So you can't just swap and change those out. I have checked around this area for any shorts, which is underneath that eMMC chip. And I've also checked around the eMMC chip for shorts, but we don't seem to have any shorts. Plus the connector looks absolutely fine. I'm happy with the M92 chip, so I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And nothing else on the board seems to be poking or jumping out at me. I've also checked down here by what they call the Max IC, but there's no shorts around here. And again, to reiterate, BQ around here is absolutely fine as well. I think the only things left to do would be to reflow the eMMC chip on here and also potentially reflow the CPU, but I'm just not going to do it. I can use this board as spares and repairs because it's in pretty good shape all round. If I start flowing around with the CPU and the eMMC, I don't want to break things further. I could also use the casing as well, the LCD screen and the ribbon cable, assuming that those work. I'm going to be taking back my M92 T36 chip though, because this is my last one. Let's quickly have a look at the stick drift on the controllers. Kind of sucks that I wasn't able to get this working, but there are definitely gaps within my knowledge. That is the reason that I couldn't get this up and running. If I sent this to a competent repair technician, there's no doubt that they could probably work it out. But that's why I love trying to repair electronics. So many different things it could be, and how much time and effort you put in is how much you get out of it. Before we test the controllers, let's test the docking station quickly. Here I have a working switch with the two Joy-Cons we need to look at. Obviously it's not the switch we just looked at because I couldn't fix it, but let's put it in the dock that we got with the kit, with the bundle. We get a green light. Anything on the screen? Yes, lovely. Okay. So that works absolutely fine. That's really good. These Joy-Cons supposedly have drift, so let's take off these rubber protectors, which are pretty awesome actually. Never seen these in my life. And how do we look at drift? Is it settings, controllers, control sticks? Yeah, that's horrendous. Look, this is me turning, this is me spinning it around, and it's just jumping all over the place. Okay, that's awful. What about this one? This one's fine. One on the left is no problems whatsoever. So it's just this one that needs amending. Wicked. Again, just a bit of stickiness that we need to sort out. This controller's fine. This one needs work. I have no idea how to dismantle one of these, so I'm just going to play a bit of a guessing game. I do have a Joy-Con stick, which is going to replace this one that's faulty. Let's see if we can work this out. Look at all this grime though. I'm going to clean all this grime here. So that just pops out. Remove that. Two little screws. And just pops right out. Nice. And this one pops right in. Screw it back, I'm assuming. Make sure it's nice and tight. I'm sure that's gone in as much as it possibly can, even though it's got a little bit of a bump here. I'm assuming that's going to be okay. We'll soon find out. Now to give this little area a clean with some IPA, isopropyl alcohol. Same for this little bit up here. Also give this a little clean as well. Whilst I'm here, I might as well give this a clean. And now to put this all back together. And there we go. Nice. There was a couple of ribbon cables in here that were quite difficult to put back in, but once you get the hang of it, I can see these being quite a nice thing to repair. Let's see if it works. I've heard that you need to calibrate the sticks after you replace an analog stick. So let's do that, shall we? Go right, down, left, up. Spin it around. Calibration complete. There we go. Look at that. Amazing. Straight to the middle. Cool. So that's this fixed. I paid £90 for all of this. The Joy-Cons working, I should be able to get about £30 for these. The dock, I should be able to get around about £30 again. This thing, I don't know what it is. It'll be a freebie for whoever buys it. So that's £60. And then we've only theoretically paid £30 for a broken Switch, and all the components inside look fine. So it's not a bad steal. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.